Hi there folks, my name's NovaWrap and welcome to the NovaWrap, your one-stop location for your simulation release news and goings on from the week that was. So here we are on Sunday the 13th of October 2019 for another exciting episode, and we are going to jump straight into it this week with the guys from UK 2000 with their latest release, that being Inverness for X-Plane 11. Now, this follows hot on the heels of I think it was about 3 weeks ago when UK 2000 released this scenery for the ESP platforms. Now, so UK 2000 have been around for a really long time. They sort of semi-shuttered their doors a little while ago and said that they were undergoing some sort of reworking and remodeling of how they're actually sort of working with products and how they're going to proceed with their new product line. And this product is actually the first part of that new format. Now, we'll get to that in just a minute. So in terms of what this airport gives you a layout of Inverness Airport in Scotland as it appears during 2019, with all airport buildings modelled, accurate photoreal scenery for the airport and surrounding areas. Everything's there. You've got custom ground objects, including custom static aircraft, full modeling of all of the airport buildings in accurate 3D, full implementation of PBR texturing throughout, and including also a 3D runway as well. So a lot coming through this one. Now, what's really, really interesting with this one is that is part of their new workflow process that the UK guys, the team at UK 2000 did as part of this reboot, of which this is the first product of that, is that they're actually offering a single price point, and a single purchase gives you your scenery for the ESP platforms and for X-Plane. So in a world where other developers out there are actually restricting how much discounts, or removing them entirely, discounts that they may give you for actually purchasing a scenery across multiple simulation platforms, UK 2000 are bucking that trend by actually now giving you more for your money. So in this particular, as I said, as part of their new pricing strategy for any of their new content that's produced in this new workflow, when you purchase a scenery once, you purchase it for all three main simulator platforms. You get it for FSX and Prepared in all its formats, including up to and including Prepared v4.5, and you also get it for X-Plane 11. So really, really big news for that one. So if you have already purchased the ESP platform compatible version of this scenery, that you can now log into your account over at UK 2000 and download your X-Plane version for free now. If not, if you're a new purchaser, you're looking at coming in at about $24 or your original equivalent to pick this airport up and add it to your collection in all of your sims, as that's available now from the UK 2000 web store. Continuing on with more scenery releases for the X-Plane 11, well, the guys over at Fly Tampa have released their latest release, that being Heraklion International Airport for X-Plane 11. Now, I feel like it's funny. I feel like I think it was like last year, maybe the year before, we had this sort of burst in this sort of massive influx of airports from for Italy from various developers, and it seems that Greece seems to be the country of choice that a wide range of developers are actually releasing for at the moment. So this is, as I said, Fly Tampa's release. So they did Athens, I think we reported on a few weeks ago. This time they've released Heraklion, which is the second busiest in Greece. It serves a variety of airlines and is located on the island of Crete. So it's obviously, funny enough, being the primary airport for the island. It's a very seasonal destination where you do have sort of some year-round operations, but because it is primarily there to serve the tourist market that will influx and sort of during the summer months into the Mediterranean, into Crete, this is where you see a big uptake of traffic. Now, this rendition of the airport is as it appears. It actually looks like it may be at the end of 2018 and not 2019, which is a bit interesting. Just as I said, very limited information coming from Fly Tampa about this one, other than it also includes, not does it include the airport, it also includes the city of Heraklion as well, which is a really big deal. So you sort of get this, like, what Orbix likes to call mini regions. It includes the full modeling of the city centre and all major buildings for VFR flights, includes the port port as well, including the cruise ship terminal. So you get a lot of bang for your buck in this one. You get custom terrain mesh for the city and surrounding areas, custom vegetation, custom lighting, and full implementation of PBR materials, and sloped terrain, and animated and static airport vehicles and aircraft. So all of that's coming in at $22 or your regional equivalent, available now from Fly Tampa. Moving out of X-Plane 11 and moving into the ESP formats, and first of all starting with the guys over at Technobrain coming out with their latest piece of sort of photoreal scenery. So this one is their release of Tokyo, Japan. So this one's pretty much it does what it says on the tin. You've got about 120 square kilometers of photoreal scenery for the capital of Japan, in Tokyo, going through both all the capital areas, the main downtown area, and also going out to some of the more regional, some of the surrounding edges of the town as well. Full satellite data and has been included here. Satellite data looks like it's based around about 2018. It's been cleaned up and hand cleaned up, and then all 3D objects and custom auto gen has also been put in here. You've got resolution of about 2.5 meters per pixel, which is actually fairly low resolution for photoreal. Generally expects the photoreal to be a bit more detailed than that, so it's a bit surprising, that one. But as I say, you get about 120 square kilometers for this one, and it's designed to work with other Tokyo International Airport packs as well. So considering the price tag, and considering that as I said, it's only sort of 2.5 meter per pixel resolution rather than sort of, the 50 centimeter that you sort of would expect for that one, it's sort of a bit. I think it's a bit. Just personal opinion, I think the price is a bit exy for that, because we are talking $55 for this photoreal. That, as I said, not usually there. You get no additional airports included here. The main part of the scenery is actually focused around the approach routes into and out of Haneda. So yeah, take it or leave it, up to you guys. I mean, it's something for us, I suppose, buyer beware. Check out the video that, of course, is playing in the background here. And this one is fully compatible with all of the ESP platforms, all the way from F6, F6 Steam, all through all of the prepared variants up to and including V4. And this one's available from Sim Markets. Continuing on with more ESP releases, but this time moving into prepared V4 exclusive releases. Next one is from Colibri Simulations. I think that's how they sound. And this is another one, as I was alluding to before, another Greek airport that we've come to see on this one. So this one is from the so this is for Paros National Airport, which is serving, funnily enough, on the island of Paros, which is in the Cyclades. I've totally messed up pronouncing that, I am absolutely certain. So the airport is located in the southwestern part of the island, and it was opened in 2016. This is the airport as it appears. It looks like late 2018. Now, this one is designed to be fully take advantage of all of the new prepared V4 content, including full implementation of PBR materials for all airport buildings, including and also weather effects on the ground, custom ground polys included, SOD animated windsocks and flags, and volumetric grass, dynamic lighting included, as well as 4K textures for all airport buildings and surrounding ground textures as well. So I don't know how much it said. I haven't really heard of these guys before. I may be wrong, but I haven't really seen much of them. I haven't seen their work before. So, but yeah, there you go. So if you want to pick this one up, this one's coming in at about $13 or your original equivalent, available now from Sim Markets. Continuing on with scenery releases for the prepared V4 world. The next two come from the giants of Aerosoft. So the first one is Chiana, with Chiana Ionis you know what? I'm just going to read that on the screen. I'm not even going to try and say that. Anyway, so once again, we've got another Greek airport coming out here. So this one is the international airport located on the Akatori Peninsula of Crete, which there's an RAF base. There's RAF Akatori just near there, I do believe. But anyway, so this is obviously the civilian airport. So this airport is designed and updated for as appears during 2019. including all airport buildings are modeled in accurate 3D with accurate 3D models. Full setup with the current apron layout, including parking positions, taxi lines, and markings, etc., etc., etc. Full implementation. Of SOD as well, is including SOD animated windsocks. You've got a variety of lighting, dynamic lighting is included as well, with animated vehicles in the airport and surrounding area as well. You also get a update to the rest of Crete as well, including a custom terrain, quality terrain mesh for the airport's peninsula and the whole of Western Crete, with updated generic sort of geotypical textures and updated coastlines for the area as well. Also implemented is a coverage of the White Mountains during just south of the airport as well. Other than that, it doesn't mention including PBR textures at all, which is rather interesting. As I said, it is still it is V4 only compliant. But yeah, it does not appear to include any PBR texturing, at least not from what I can tell here as well. So yeah, probably something to do. Also fully compatible with various different AI traffic add-ons, and as said, night lighting before, 3D grass, and sun reflections on the ground. So I guess, I suppose, if they're getting weather reflections off the ground and off the ground textures, then it literally at least has to have some form of PBR included for this one. So this one's coming in at 23 US dollars, or your original equivalent, available now from Aerosoft. In the other Aerosoft scenery release this week, we saw them release their latest version of Lukla, or Mount Everest Extreme, they've called it. Sorry, it's so sorry. So just slight thing. I remember many moons ago, I used to watch Stargate, and there was the whole episode, the parody episode, where they had there was a TV crew filming a wormhole extreme, because everything, apparently marketing says that everything's more interesting if you put extreme in the title. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so this is their rendition of Lukla. Funny enough, this is actually I don't know whether it's a port over from the Aerofly FS2 one, or the Aerofly FS2 one was a port from this version. Not really sure, but technically Aerofly FS2 one did come out. So this is not just an update of the old Aerosoft Lukla X. This is completely new, as I said, but in line with the version from that was also released earlier in the year for Aerofly FS2, so it includes a full update, including a huge amount of surrounding area details and updates here as well. You've got 5 high, so you get more than just Lukla here. You get 5 high detailed airports with all their terminal buildings, clutter objects, static aircraft, static vehicles, animated vehicles, all included. Now these include Lukla, Siangbosch, Paplu, Kangladanda, and Ramchata. But then you also get 7 generic airports with updated and semi-corrected details, including tower positions, ground layout, and hand-edited terrain. So you get 7 sort of updates as well, and you also get 12 helipads as well, which is also, that was a very interesting thing, because, and this is what was said, it was sort of, I think these are some ways sort of, sort of at least developed in parallel, one is not for the other, because these 12 helipads were included in the Aerofly FS2 version, but of course there are no helicopters in there at the moment, so yeah, interesting. You got 200 square kilometers of photoreal coverage included here as well, including hand-edited terrain mesh also included as well, with over 366,000 autogen buildings are custom placed as well. That's crazy. You got 60 million individually placed trees in the respective vegetation areas. Seriously, I feel for whoever actually had to place those. I really do. The photoreal scenery is also hand-edited and geo-referenced with a combination of satellite imagery and aerial photography, including a whole slew of points of interest are also included, with detailed mesh of all of the rock and glacier outcrops around Mount Everest Base Camp, to make your helicopter landings more fun and challenging as well. Full implementation of it's interesting. It says PBR-like implementation, so I don't know what that actually means. Like, I thought you either had PBR or you didn't, but it does apparently support sun and wind air reflections, bumpy terrain, and water effects during rain or snow. Full set of night lighting also included. There was also a semi-fictional to be built large Tingri airport north of Mount Everest as well. Not really sure about that, so It's interesting the use of semi-fictional. Anyway, and there's also not a single airport has a flat runway. So I remember that was always the challenge of still this fun part of going to Lukla in default F6 and prepared, was that you sort of had this beautiful sort of mountain and then just this flat airport. Just didn't work. Anyway, so there you go. And of course, they highly recommend that you pick up that you pick up the Twin Otter Extended for this airport as well. But if you want to pick this one up, you're looking at $30 or original equivalent, available now from Aerosoft. Alright, moving out of the flight simulation world and moving into the world of the permanent way, the guys over at Train Sim World have released their latest add-on this week, which is the Rhein-Ruhr Osten, the Wuppertal Hagen route add-on for Train Sim World. So, not really much to sort of say through here. So this is like it's a 30 sort of 29, I think it's a 31 kilometer route in the Rhein-Ruhr region with the beautiful high fidelity graphics of Train Sim World. You also get an additional 11 kilometers of diverging S8 S-Bahn route between Schwelm and Werlinghausen as well. You've got a couple of trains are included with this one as well. You get the Deutsche Bahnhof BR 4222 electric train, and you also get the BR 185.5 vehicle, freight hauling one as well. A variety amount of freight and rolling stock are also included. All cabs are included, which are feature-rich driving cabs with accurate, true-to-life performance and handling for both the EMU and the locomotive, all included. You got a whole slew of authentic and custom sound effects are also included from actual trains. Journey mode also includes over 20 hours of activities for you to master, with 5 detailed scenarios included and a slew of other fun parts coming through there as well. So this one's coming in at the pretty standard price, coming in at $30 or original equivalent, available now on Steam. Moving out of the train simulation and moving back in time with a really interesting release this week. So I knew this was coming a couple of months ago, and I've been keeping an eye on it, and I will be releasing a review of this one very shortly. Is the new release from Game Operators and Playway services called Radio Commander. Now, this is an interesting little title, this one, because in a way it's a real-time strategy game, but it's also a sim. And I want to talk about why. So traditionally, you're like with your real-time strategy games. Real-time strategy games, you sort of you're a commander, you got your army, you tell your units to go here, there, and everywhere, shoot stuff, whatever. Radio Commander gives you that role, but you're back at base. You don't have a god's eye perspective of your units and what they're doing. You're actually at a base, and you actually have to send orders based on radio comm chatter and decisions that you make. So you can't you can't sort of click on a soldier and then tell him to go somewhere, or click on an aircraft and call in an airstrike. You have to do all this based on map coordinates and actual sort of and your own interpretation of what you're hearing from your virtual soldiers. So it's a really interesting way, and as I said, looking at how the idea behind it, and as I said, it definitely puts a huge sim element into something that is a genre that is definitely not generally considered simulation. So yeah, I think it's really cool. As I said, it comes from it's got a fairly hefty pedigree, with of course a simulation title that I reviewed here previously, which is 911 Operator. And the developers have been hard at work on a couple of new ones coming through, and it's really, really impressive, this one. So there you go. So yeah, as I said, look really interesting. I think it's pretty cool. It's a very interesting take on the on an RTS genre, putting a huge simulation element into it. So looking at $20 for this one on Steam, currently on a launch special for 15 for a couple of days. If you are interested in picking this one up, available now on Steam. Changing the subject and moving from the past and into the near future with another little sort of genre bridging genre bridging title of Deliver Us the Moon. So this is ostensibly looks like a first-person sort of title, but it has and sort of like a story-driven narrative. But in many ways, it's still got a simulation side to it as well. So basically, it's a story of a near-future Earth where there is climate change issues and resource starvation for around the world, and then there's a requirement to go to the moon, so to go into orbit and go into the moon to actually sort of try and resolve stuff. And this puts you, and this is sort of the simulation, it actually sort of simulates a lot of that space activities, including spacewalks. It does everything from first and third person, but it also simulates rover operations, space operations, and a variety of other things as well. So it looks really interesting. In some ways, you could almost call it a puzzle-solving game. It's got a fairly interesting, deep message there as well. Sort of talking about it. It goes through, deals with a lot of issues, as I said, like climate change, and how it's going to impact, how it is impacting us, and how it could impact us in the future, as well as other content coming through and talking about resource starvations and governments and stuff like that. So it's a interesting, cross genre cross genre simulation title that I think might be worth a look. So this one's coming in. It's I think a single player only title. So this one's coming in at about $25 or your original equivalent. Available now on Steam. Alright, moving from outer space back onto the racetrack this week with a new release from Codemasters being Grid. So I honestly thought this was, well, this is kind of a reboot. I was looking for the reboot, but I realized the reboot's like it's like years old. Like the original one was like I think almost 10 years ago. I think the original one. And so this one is an interesting sort of hybrid between sort of racing simulation or vehicle simulation and an arcade style of playing. It sort of tries to walk a fine line between the two. Visually, it looks absolutely stunning. It really does. And we've kind of been spoiled over the last few years with titles like Project Cars 2, and some of the motorcycling ones that have come out over the last few years. And it said, look, visually looks absolutely beautiful and comes through that as well. But one thing that I have to say is that there's very little information about it. And Codemasters, unfortunately, are very like this. They sort of just put out a headline and then nothing. Like, nothing. Like literally the information they put out is so generic. It's just really bad. But essentially, it goes through a variety of different racing sort of vehicles, racing sort of tracks, everything from mountain tracks to your traditional race circuits to actual sort of street circuits, very much a Need for Speed Underground kind of style. It goes through the variety of vehicles. I can't even tell you what cars are in it because I couldn't find a list. So yeah. Anyway, so yeah, just be aware. So this one's in a couple of different editions. There's the base edition, and then there's also an Ultimate Edition upgrade. The Ultimate Edition upgrade essentially gives you it's basically a season pass and gives you some additional premium content, including a variety of different career events and some additional sort of I think it's about 4 additional cars and some extra different liveries for other cars as well. I have to say though that the price point is fairly obnoxious. So we're looking the base title is coming in at $60, and then when you've got the Ultimate Edition coming through with the upgrade edition, you're looking at another $40 on top of that. So you're looking at basically $100 to be able to pick up the full edition. So yeah, that's painful. So just it's an expensive thing, but this one's available on PC. It's also available on PlayStation and on Xbox. Available now. Sticking with 4 wheels, but this time moving into the world of Dirt Rally. So Dirt Rally 2.0 released their latest track this week, which is the Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi, which is a really cool place, by the way. I've been there. I had some time at the Ferrari World. Got to do a lap around the Marina Circuit many years ago. So this one's coming in, as I said, nothing pretty much to it. This is as the 2019 version of the circuit, with all updated, including the updated viewing grandstands, turns, technical layouts, and stuff like that. This one's coming in pretty standard circuit price increase, coming in for $4 or your original equivalent. Available now from Steam. And rounding out the NovaWrap for this week, well, to be honest, I almost didn't report on this, but I will cover all new releases. But I will straight up say this is not a new release, or it's masquerading as a new release. So this is Mountain Rescue Simulator from United Independent Entertainment. So this is a very basic game with some mission time. Looks on the reviews online basically means that you can play this out in a few hours. So we're looking at $20 for something for not a lot of content. The part that really, essentially, you take on the role of a new recruit to a mountain rescue team. In a generic mountain range somewhere in Europe, somewhere in Germany or Switzerland, and you'll go when it said the description of it's really terrible. Sort of when this danger calls, it's down to you to become a lifesaver in Mountain Rescue Simulator. Now you and your team are in demand. Use your special vehicles such as helicopters, quad bikes, or snowcat to rescue people, take care of broken bones, or rescue lost hikers. Like, it sounds like a really bad B-grade movie title. Now, but beyond that, and the part that really gets me, especially considering this being sold for $20, is that this game is 4 years old. It's not an updated version. It's not a reboot. It is the exact same. I did some background research because I recall hearing about this. I don't know if I covered it. Was I even doing the NovaWrap 4 years ago? I can't remember. I think I might have been. Anyway, I do recall reading about it and seeing it 4 or 5 years ago, and I did some research, and it turns out it's exactly the same. Nothing has changed. It's a very basic Unity. I'm going to guess to say it's a Unity engine game, with very stock Unity assets, and it just looks absolutely atrocious. For 5 years ago, it probably didn't look too bad, but for now, no. Just no. Especially when they're still charging $20 for it. And, yeah. No. But if you insist on getting it, that's buyer beware, so there you go. Anyway, that does round out the NovaWrap for this week. Thank you very much for joining me. Don't forget, as always, to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed these videos and want to see more. And, of course, as always, you can catch up with me and all the things I'm up to between videos by finding me on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search NovaWing24. Alright, folks, thanks very much for watching. Take care, safe skies to all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now.